I just have an announcement to make. There seems like in the last few days, a number of people haven't been getting the link to this class. And there are two things I suggest. First, I hate to say it, but try spam. Very often these types of emails go to spam, and if you don't get it, it could be there. If you don't find it there, uh, what I suggest is don't wait, 5 minutes before meditation to check this thing. I send this email out about 8 o'clock in the morning, my time. So if you're on the West Coast, that's 3 hours later, and check it earlier. And in case you don't get it, then you can get in touch with me and I'll send you a direct email with the link. But everybody here and everybody who hasn't been getting it have been are on my list. So I don't understand that, other than the fact that it might be in spam or there's a mistake somewhere to be rectified. If people would just check whether or not you got this email a lot earlier. Don't wait, until 20, 25 minutes after 7, my time. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? Another announcement, Kenny is going to post 3 of my pieces of writing on my website tomorrow and next Friday, the last 2, and it's finished. The whole book will be posted on my website for anyone who wants to read it. So, I mean, this is like amazing. I feel like I climbed Mount Fuji or snail, and slowly. It's been incredible and quite wonderful work to have done this, and hopefully now it's accomplished. And does anyone have a question they would like to ask? I mean, I really don't blame you. I can barely talk. The class is so strong and so deep. You have a question? No. My class is so strong and so deep that I guess the best question and best answer is just silence. You get all your answers in silence. And just once again, I'll say it. This is going to be a very strong month this month. This is going to be a month for amazing growth. And I think it's an important time to take the Shakti very deep inside, to tap a need inside oneself that truly wants to be with God, and allow the energy, which is always so strong between the 24th of January and the 21st of February, to truly work on us, to heal us, to develop the chakra system, to strengthen us, to really build us inside. Okay, if there are no questions, then
Sure. Stuart, I have a question.
yes, yeah.
So, with the many obstacles that are coming up in this next month, how best to be in relationship with what appears to be obstacles?
Well, I don't know if there are going to be obstacles, Bob. There were a lot of obstacles last year. people getting sick, problems endless. It just never was nonstop the whole year. I'm talking about strong energy. And the only obstacle you might be up against is your own resistance to it, to letting go and truly growing inside yourself. But this is the kind of energy that will plow through all your all the stuff, the problems, the physical things, the mental thing. It'll plow through everything, and then it's a matter. There's only one obstacle. Does one want to grow? Does one want to have a spiritual life? Does one want to go deeper and deeper into themselves? And if there's that resistance, that's your only obstacle. And that's a matter of letting go of old habits, old patterns, old ways of functioning in the world. So I think that'll be this month. That's the only obstacle I can see is that. Which is probably the biggest obstacle every human being has in life. And it's just an incredible opportunity to get past it, to suddenly learn how to transform it. It's not a time to miss classes this month. It really isn't. Although, I sent out 58 invitations to this class and 21 people show up. It's not a time to miss class. It's a time to really open and let truly powerful energy transform one. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, it's Kenny.
Yes, Kenny?
In one of your posts that is upcoming, not published yet, you speak about that if you were to say everything in Sanskrit and it was about if you did the practice in Sanskrit, it would be only appeal to a very, very few people, but that's not what it really is. Can you talk a little about what you were saying there?
Well, academia, you know, when you start talking in terms of all this Hindu terminology, it gets very academic and it becomes very mental. And it appeals to a certain segment of the world. But what I'm trying to do through the things I've written, I mean, I had a guy got in touch with me today, a guy who lives in Germany, who's been following these talks that I give after the Zoom class. And he's talking about how he's been in India, he's been to Ganesh Puri, he's been to ashrams. And it's exactly what I'm saying. He said, I am so tired of, the Hindu fashion show, of people, adopting another, where what I'm trying to do through my work is to get it down to basic language, street talk, the language that people talk every day, so that people can understand truly what's going on. And in order to get an understanding, they don't have to run to a dictionary to look up Sanskrit words that just become part of their memory, becomes part of the mind. So what I'm trying to do in these classes, in all those writings that I put on my, website, hopefully I'll get published, is to take it down to very practical, pragmatic levels of understanding, not creating mystery because one uses foreign words. So when I talk about that, and I remember when I said that, that's what I'm really referring to. People talk. the way human beings interact with each other, talk to each other in language that we all understand. And I mean, one of the reasons I love Rudy is that's the way he talked. He talked in language that everyone understood. And it wasn't constant references to, all this, Hindu terminology and Sanskrit terminology. And yeah, that's okay. One can go Om and Om Shanti and Namaste. But I've met people who think saying Namaste is a spiritual life. It used to blow me away to see how they would interact with each other. And just saying Namaste to one another was a spiritual life. And it's not. Spiritual life goes much deeper. It really digs up the very core of what it means to be a human being. And I think this is very important. And I love that. I love that about Rudy. He spoke in, it was bagels and lox and ham sandwich yoga. I mean, it was incredible. It was just in everyday language, And I used to love that because I never met anyone before who did that. Everyone spoke using all the Sanskrit terminology, and yeah, okay, it was all right, but it didn't really do anything to open me deep inside. So when I talk about that, in that section there, this is what I'm talking about. Getting it down to where it's palpable, where it's in, language that we all understand, that we can relate to. And whether it's in English or French or, Portuguese, or it's in basic language that's understandable. So that's basically what I was trying to get to in that section. I think I even used the word people talk in there, if I remember correctly. But I think that's a big part of the battle, getting this very esoteric thing that we do and bringing it down to where it really is almost common sense understanding about living in the world. Because what we do is really an esoteric thing, but it would be worthless if we can't make it practical. I mean, it was very interesting to get that email from this guy. I don't even know him, and he was talking about he's tired of all people impersonating swamis, and it's more ego than it is. I mean, who is this guy, And I tell you, I went to ashrams in India, and it was really like that. I just couldn't relate to what was going on there. It's got to be practical. It's got to be in language and in experience that we understand in our everyday life. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I'm not against Sanskrit or even academia, I don't have anything against it. But look, I was a freaking street kid living in the Bronx and tenements in the Bronx. You know, I mean, really. And I could never relate to all that esoteric stuff, that language, but I could relate very profoundly to the spiritual energy that used to flow through my teacher and nurture me in the deepest parts of my inner life. I could relate to that. I didn't have to understand that. It transformed me, just as the energy of these classes hopefully are transforming each and every one of you. On a very practical level, you see the transformation in your daily life. Does anyone else have a question you'd like to ask?
Stuart, it's Lynn. I actually do have a question.
Good.
Tomorrow's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. And is there
Answer that question last night, or at some last couple of days, somebody asked me the same question. Well, Rudy's birthday was yesterday. But
right?
I'm
right.
sorry, ask your question.
Oh no, that's okay. My question is, when it's your birthday, is there anything special that I should or one should do, asking for more, or I don't know. I'm just curious.
Look, it has to be special when it was the day that you were conceived, not conceived, but the day you came to the earth.
Yeah.
Your soul and body were born here. And it's a very special day. But it's also a day that should remind you, as I said yesterday, every day is a birthday. Every day is a chance to be reborn in oneself. Every day is a chance to get closer to one's spiritual enlightenment. So every day should be a birthday. And yet, we have once a year this special day where we were born. We came to the earth in order to, learn how to have a spiritual life. And there are many, many virgin pathways that we take before we get on the pathway that really takes us through that door that opens to a spiritual life. But one has to be grateful, that's all. Be grateful to your parents, and without them, you wouldn't be here. You chose them. You chose them as the vehicle through which you were born on the earth, and you're here to learn how to get to God. That is the reason we're all born. Not to make money and Caesar requires that we have money, we do all these things, but that's not what we're here to learn. We'll learn how to do all those things, yes, but to do them with gratitude, with love, with quiet, not to get completely wrapped up in tension and anger and greed and et cetera,
Yeah.
So just be grateful.
I am. Thank you so much.
Be grateful to your parents. Be grateful to the people in your life. Be grateful that you have an opportunity, to be on a path that is leading you to God. And then carry it on to the next day. And the next day. And the next day.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much.
And look, I'll just finish. Lynn, you have a lot to be grateful for. Look how much you've changed. You've been coming here, what, a year and a half? How long has it been?
Over a year and a half.
Yeah. And look how much you've changed in such a short time. From somebody who was just frightened and unhappy, and I look at you and there's a sweetness coming out of you. There's love coming out of it. There's gratitude coming out of it. It's amazing in such a short time to have gone through such a major change in your life. Be grateful.
I I am truly, truly
I can see
grateful.
it, I
Thank
can
you.
see it.
Yes.
Does anyone else have a question? Okay, so I look, try and make classes this month. Somebody says, but look, I got to go to class this month. This is a major period of growth. Try to come to classes. You know, you tell people, look, I got something to do. I can take care of whatever you need from me an hour later, you know? And I mean this because this kind of energy, man, it's just fantastic. And I think we all can benefit so profoundly from it. I mean, those of you that just come to this class here, you know, the one I have in the Americas, if you want to come to the European class as well, there'll be 7 classes a week. You're welcome. Just send me an email. I would like to go to that one also, you know? And I'll put you on the list. And then if you don't get the invite, check spam. If it's there, but if it's not there, then just get in touch with me and I'll send you a direct invite. Okay, God bless you all. Thank you. And there'll be class on Sunday. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. And thank you. God bless you all. Wonderful people in my life. I have nothing but gratitude for each and every one of them. Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night, Stuart.
Good night.
Stuart.